Shabbat Shalom. As our rabbi mentioned earlier, this is a difficult Shabbat. Some of us are wearing orange in memory of the Bibas family. We now have closed the circle on their story. On October 7th, there were 3 generations of this family who were murdered by Palestinian civilians who broke into the house with hammers and drills. The grandparents, Margalit and Ziv, the mother, Shiri, and the grandchildren, Kfir and Ariel. As we grieve, we're simultaneously honored today by a visit from a survivor of very similar horrors, which have been meted out by terrorists and violent militias in a faraway place in eastern Congo, a place I've had the honor of visiting. Amani Matabaro, our guest speaker today, has lost nearly 100 family members in the wars in Congo. And this level of suffering that has been meted out in his life is not actually what makes him remarkable. What's remarkable about Amani is his commitment to the resilience and the recovery of his own people, which is a value that he shares with the Jewish people. Amani received the gift of a good education despite all the horrors that he survived, and that led to wonderful things like a good job, like his extraordinary wife Amini, who is also with us, his 6 children who are now grown, and also that education led to some pocket money, which Amani always used to invest in the education of other poor and vulnerable children whose their lives began in a similar way as his did. So Amani is a pioneer of genuinely community-led development. In the field of international development and humanitarian aid, there are a lot of well-intentioned people who waste a lot of money. And Amani is not one of those people. Under his leadership, the village of Mumosho, which when I visited about 13 years ago, was pretty much still a depopulated valley of weeds, and that was because most of the residents had been displaced by war into internally displaced persons camps. But today it's a thriving community of 70,000 people, and they have fertile farmland, they have livestock, they have medicine, they have a beautiful school, which you're going to see a video about in a few minutes, and there's cash circulating. It's a place where people want to live, they want to move, to be a part of the beautiful community of Mumosho. And the success and the thriving of Mumosho has everything to do with Amani's unique approach to empowering the local community. Now, all of this work, Amani's life's work, is threatened because this week the M23 rebels arrived in his village. This is not the first time that M23 has invaded Congo, but this is the first time that they have come this far. And have placed such a dire threat to Amani's family and his community and his life's work. I'm really honored that Amani has taken time to come all the way from Bukavu and from Mumosho to visit with us. He's been at Harvard for a few months doing a fellowship, and that's why we're privileged to be able to have him with us. So please join me in welcoming Amani Matabaro.
Good morning, and thank you so very much for having me today. I feel blessed and honored to be here and to be given this space to share our story.
Sorry, if you want to hold this, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Help us change the narrative of what is happening in the Congo and in the African Great Lakes region. As I'm speaking to you now, many people are being forced to flee their homes. As I am here, our children were forced to flee our home, and they took an unknown destination. It is only 5 days ago that we learned they are in Burundi. And Burundi is not safe right now because the rebel group fighting in the eastern Congo are threatening to go and fight in Burundi as well. I am 48, but I've been living a cycle of violence for the past 30 years. 3 decades, our country has been facing cycle of wars every day, every day. But this has something to do with the colonial period when King Leopold II won Congo. As you know, the African continent, after the Berlin Conference, was divided in many small places, and each European country won one country. But what is particular about Congo is that Congo was won by one individual in the name of King Leopold II of the Belgian. And under his absolute rule, the people of Congo suffered for 23 years. People being killed, people being exploited, being enslaved. But why? Because there was need of rubber to power the economy of the automobile industry revolution by that time. And this resulted in killing 10 million people in Congo by that time. Extraction of natural resources. But what we see is that the world is not learning. The world is not working to change the past, the horrible pasts related to natural resources extraction. What is happening in the Congo for the past 30 years now of war is again extraction of natural resources. The country is very rich with tin, tungsten, columbite and tantalite and cobalt. All these critical minerals the world needs to manufacture electronic devices. All these minerals needed to power the economy of the tech industries are being mined in the Congo. But to have control over these minerals, armed groups and neighboring countries are plundering and pillaging and killing people. As I'm talking to you now, 7 million people have been forced to flee and they have become internally displaced people. As I'm talking to you now, around 1 million people are forced to flee and they're becoming refugees. Rape is being used as a weapon of war, as a way to terrorize people and to silence whoever can stand up and speak. So many children are being used as child soldiers. When the militia have control over these minerals, they're using forced child labor. And Chinese are also there collaborating with local militia, destroying the environment, forced labor, not paying the people. Everybody is coming in to plunder and pillaging the natural resources, and the local communities are paying the price by being killed every day. This war has resulted in around 15 million people being killed, as history is repeating itself over and over. We all need these minerals, but we can get them peacefully. But unfortunately, it is not what is happening. Everybody had their cell phone. We are speaking using this technology. We are screening all this using this technology. All these minerals are needed, and we need them to continue using this technology. But there is a way to stand up all together and ask our leaders to make sure we change the narrative. But in the face of all this, my wife and myself, we decided not to stand idly by doing nothing. We decided to start a program through Action Kivu, and we started the Congo Peace School. As Monique said, we met more than 10 years ago in this world of advocating for peace and justice in the world. And we have been trying to support the children, because myself, when I lost my parents, I was not able to get an education, but someone helped me get an education. And I made a vow saying, if I am able to do something, it is going to be education. We started the Congo Peace School, and the Congo Peace School is right now servicing 700 children. But as I speak to you right now, these children are at home in the community. The school is shut down because the rebels have invaded our community. The rebels are forcing children to become child soldiers because it is easy to use children. Those who can't be used as child soldiers are being used as porters of what they are capturing and the people they are raping every day and every day. So the programs we do is education, but it is rooted in the philosophy of Martin Luther King Jr., trying to promote peace and nonviolence because it is needed. We need coexistence. We need to advance social cohesion and bringing communities together. Rwandans and Congolese are one people, but politicians, with their greed, with their selfish interests, are manipulating people using identity to separate people so as they continue plundering and using the minerals and take them to the international market. And they don't want final consumers to know. They don't want people who use their phones and their laptop to know that there is conflict around this mineral and this violence escalating every day for them to have control over the minerals. We have come with some gifts and handmade gifts by the women who are in the vocational skill training, and these are survivors of the violence happening in the country. But when they come to the program, to the Congo Peace School, we give them an opportunity to rebuild their lives by learning vocational skill, and they start becoming self-resilience and self-sustaining by making the handmade gift you saw outside as a way to give them value and an opportunity to rebuild their lives. Thank you so very much for your support and accepting us to be here today and share the story about this work, about what is happening. And what you can do is talk to your representative so as they can stand up and talk to the leadership in this country and make sure they can stop the ongoing violence happening in the Congo. Talk to your representative so they can talk to tech companies, making sure they are not sourcing their raw materials from places under control of armed group and the militia, and they are not exploiting people, they are not pillaging the natural resources, and stop the economy of war, because economy of war is not profiting many people. It is just profiting a small number of these warlords, these corrupt leaders. And they have jeopardized our lives because we try to go everywhere and speak. I am in a fellowship program at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government with affiliation with the Carl Center for Human Rights Policy, talking about these issues, writing about these issues, and making the world aware of what's happening in that particular part of the globe. We need peace in the Eastern Congo. We need peace everywhere. And I'm so happy to be here singing and rejoicing and praying for peace. Peace is possible if we come together and support each other to make it happen. Thank you.